Sanibonani bafundi, lo okhulumayo uthisha uLungile Madlala. Before we can start, I need to check if you guys could hear me. Please, if you're struggling to hear me, just make sure that your audio is on and your speaker volume is turned up. You will automatically be muted when you join this session. That means I will not be able to hear you. However, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions on our private chat. I'll be able to answer your question at the end of the session. Please note that this is a safe space. You guys can ask any questions that you might have with regards to the subject. However, you will be dismissed from anything that is irrelevant or inappropriate. Please also note ukuthi le subject lena esikhuluma ngayo i-subject yesiZulu, ngakho-ke ngizobe ngikhuluma isiZulu ngaso sonke isikhathi. Kodwa-ke, please note that as much as I'll be speaking Zulu, I'll also try to do the translation in English just to make sure that everyone is accommodated. All right. First, I need to give you guys a background of the task that we have for Term 2. All right. So from Term 1, you guys did task 1 up to task number 5. Term 2 is a continuation. Sesenza task 6 to task number 8. Task 6 wakho, it's going to be your orals. Kukusho ukuthi ngaba inkulumo elungiselelwe, inkulumo engalungiselanga, ukufunda okulungiselelwe noma ukufunda okungalungiselelwe. Konke lokhu is administered prior to the examination period. Your task 7, umbhalo wendaba noma umbhalo odlulisa umyalezo, which is what we are going to be focusing on today. Your task number 8 is your June test. Format will be indaba, your comprehension, ukufingqa, your summary, ulimi, where you'll be tested on different language structures that you've learned about in classroom when it comes to the subject isiZulu. All right, welcome guys. I'm so excited to have you and you've really made it this far. I think you should be proud of yourselves. So today I am going to be taking you through your task number 7, which can still be task number 8, and on the OLP, and that is your transactional writing. Okay. Engizokwenza namhlanje with regards to this task will be ukupha ulwazi nge-task, just to give you a background information about this task in hand. Umbhalo wokuziqambela odlulisa umyalezo. Uma sikhuluma ngombhalo wokuziqambela noma odlulisa umyalezo, what are we actually talking about, right? Ukuma kwe-task, how is the structure of the task? Izomime kanjani i-task yakho? Ukwabiwa kwama-mark, uzowathola kanjani ama-mark wakho, which for this task is going to be 10 marks. Bese sibheka ukuthi umsebenzi lona uzowutholaphi, where are you going to find this work, and then I'll answer questions, any questions that you guys might have, and open a room for you to ask anything that you'd like to ask. Okay, right, let's talk about the task in hand. Your task 7 or 8 is going to consist of iziqephu ezimbili, meaning it's going to have 2 sessions, nemibuzo emibili, and 2 questions. Isiqephu A kuzoba khona umbhalo wezindaba. Your first session is going to consist of your essay writing, and then isiqephu B, umbhalo wokuziqambela, it's going to be your creative part of writing. Okumele ukwazi-ke, what you need to know about this task is, njengoba ngishilo ukuthi today we are talking about umbhalo wokuziqambela, the creative part of writing. What you need to know here, grade 4, is that you need to be creative. The word on its own, it tells you ukuthi you need to be creative. Uma u-creative ngesiZulu sithi uyaziqambela, kusho ukuthi into isusela ekhanda. Sihlukanisa kabili-ke, khona emide, there are longer transactional writings, bese kube khona nemufushane, the shorter transactional writing. Emide, we are looking at incwadi, your letter, informal or informal, ama-minutes omhlangano, the agendas and meeting and minutes of the meetings, your article, hlampe yephephandaba, your newspaper article, and so forth. Bese siba nembhalo emfushane, the shorter one, normally it's your diary. You guys are familiar with the diary. We did it first term, so i-diary hlala ikhona. We consider it as umbhalo omfushane because it's a shorter one. Kube khona ingxoxo, it's a dialogue. It can be ingxoxo verbally, where you communicate with your student in class in a group discussion and so forth, or in any form of engagement. But in this case, you will be writing it down. So ingxoxo, it can be your dialogue. Bese siba khona i-card lesimemo, your invitational card. It's shorter as well. You might find it. Postcard, your postcard, isikhangiso, advertisement, njalo njalo, and so forth. Right. To prepare you for the task, okubalulekile when you get your paper is ukufundisisa umbuzo ukuthi udinga wenzeni. What does this mean? Thoroughly go through the question to find out what is it that is really required from you. Does the question want you to write a transactional piece of writing or it's a shorter one? It's very important to ukufundisisa umbuzo wakho. Uma ufundisisa futhi bhekisisa ukuthi which section is this one. You remember we said section A is your essay and section B is your writing. So make sure ukuthi uma usewenza transactional writing, it is section B. Ufundisise-ke umbuzo wakho ukuthi wenzeni. Number 2, amagama okumele uwasebenzise. The number of words that you need to use. This is very important in planning. Once you know the number of words, the limitations, and what you cannot exceed, you can properly plan your piece of writing. Kwa grade 4 level, the amount of work or the number of words we are looking for must be between 30 to 40, meaning they mustn't be more than 40, they mustn't be less than 30. Right. Now you've read the paper. You've also now looked at the number of words that you need to use in your planning. Now, hlaziya isihloko sakho. Ukuhlaziya means to analyze. Uma sithi hlaziya isihloko meaning analyze the topic that you are given. When it comes to analyzing, we are talking about read it thoroughly to find out what you can basically talk about. You're not only focusing on one topic here, you read all the topics that you are given so that you can choose one that is suitable for you. We normally advise you grade 4 ukuthi khetha isihloko ozokwazi ukubhala ngaso. Choose the topic that you're most comfortable in writing about. Make sure uyenzile research yakho, you've done your research. Make sure futhi ukuthi unawo amaphuzu awanele, you have enough points to write about that particular topic. Okay, now before you write, you have to plan. Ngaphambi kokuthi ubhale kubalulekile ukuthi uhlele, you need to plan. Your planning can include your draft, it can include your mind map, depending on the question. In this case, uma sikhuluma nge-planning, we are referring to your first draft. Your first draft kumele ilandele imigomo yombhalo okuziqambele, meaning any draft that you are going to give us, it needs to link to the part of writing that you are writing. You can't give us a draft for a letter whereas you are asked to write a dialogue. So ayihambisani. Kumele futhi kube ila ozolungisa khona amaphutha akho. In your first draft, that's where you come now and fix any mistakes that you might have made on your writing. Remember, yathunyelwa, it is always submitted. There's always a mark just for submitting a first draft yakho. All right. Now I'm going to move on to when you get your question paper, what topics that you might come across. So our main focus is going to be isakhiwo sengxoxo, mainly because kwa grade 4, we mostly give you ingxoxo kwa term 2. So we are going to talk about a dialogue. We call a dialogue in English, ngesiZulu sithi ingxoxo. So sizobe sibheke in the structure isakhiwo sayo ke ingxoxo. Okay, the first thing when you get a question that wants you to write a dialogue, remember you've already analyzed the questions, you've looked at the number of words, you've chosen the topic, now you are comfortable in writing. The first thing you write with dialogue is isiZulu. isiZulu, it's when you introduce the setting. Where is the conversation happening? It's between who, and they are talking about what. We call that isakhiwo ngesiZulu. Ungasho ukuthi okay, kukhona uLungile kanye nomfundi bayaxoxa eklasini mayelana nesifundo sesiZulu. That is isiZulu. You can also come up with your own where you tell us ukuthi what is it about, with who, what's happening there. After you've written that, you underline. It's just one line just to tell us what's happening. What can we find in your dialogue? Who are the people? Where are they? What are they talking about? Then now you skip a line, usuyaqala-ke ubhala i-dialogue yakho. The first setting part we look for is the names of the people. Baqambe amagama. If on your question paper it is stated that the conversation must be between, let's say, John and Tom, you don't have to now come up with names. But if it is not specified, you need to always make it a priority that you give us the names of abantu abazokhuluma in your order. Remember, it's creative again. You create the names. When you create your names, enza isiqiniseko sokuthi amagama uwabhala ngasesandleni sokunxele. all the names of the people needs to be in your left-hand side of your writing. They have to be short. Ungabhala isibongo. You can just write as the name of a person, or you can write the name of a person, but please, you don't have to give us the full details or the full names of the people speaking. When you write your name, make sure uyaphongoza ngo-u omncane. Ukuphongoza kufana nokwenza njani, uyafakelela igama. Lo u lona mncane, it has to be in small letters, not in capital letters, because it's like it's Lungile speaking. In English, it's not really important. You just say Thabo, Lungi, teacher. But in Zulu, you put u. Umama, ubaba, ulungile. This is an example. Uma usuqedile ukwenza lokho usufaka into esibiza ngokuthi your colony next to the names. For an example, ulungile ngafaka icolon. Sungaqala ke manje usuyakhuluma usuyabhala indaba yakho. Remember, kuba inkulumo mpendulwano. It has to be a conversation. People must speak, there must be questions, and those questions must be answered. Inkulumo mpikiswano noma inkulumo mpendulwano. Alright? Akube khona isingeniso, introduction. Kwisingeniso sakho ila ukhuluma kabanzi ngesihloko. Kungenzeka ukuthi niyabingelelana. Uma niseklasini, uthisha uzoqala ngokubingelela abafundi. Noma uma nihlangana endleleni, most of the time we start with the greeting. So you can start with that as your introduction. Umzimba, it's the body now. On the body, that's where usukhuluma kabanzi ngesihloko sakho osukusikhethile, meaning now you talk more into details about the topic that you were given. If it's a conversation in a classroom, talk more about those things. Ask each other questions, but they must link to the context, which is the classroom. Isiphetho kungaba ukuthi niphetha ngokuzwana noma niphetha ngokuthi anizwani. Kuya ngokuthi udaba oluxoxa ngawo lukhulunywa ngani. Uma sikhuluma ngesiphetho, it's a conclusion now, the ending. It can be a good one, it can also be a bad one, depend on the question that you are given. Remember, you don't have to give us a nice conclusion where you say hambe kahle usale kahle, the goodbye part. It can actually end bad. Angifuni ukuphinde ngikubona, ngisafuna ukuphinde ngikhulume nawe. I don't ever want to see you again. Be creative again. Everything is entirely up to you as to what kind of writing you want to give us. Okay, this is just a rough example it's more like a draft again, roughly, of how you could structure your presentation without including all the details. Like I said at the top, it's the tool, or it's the setting. You give us the context. Where is it happening? When? What? Who? What are they talking about? So this is usually a line. Then you underline. Can you see? I've given you isikhulumi one. Isikhulumi one means speaker one. You're not gonna write isikhulumi one, of course, but what you will do is write the name. Then you write the name of a person. Then you put the colon. Or you write the name of the second speaker, you put the colony. If it's more than that, you are going to continue giving them the name. Sometimes it can be a group, can be just students. So maybe students are answering like this. You can still give us that depending again on the question. You can already see how I started it. This is exactly how we want you to write it, grade 4. There isn't any other way, and so forth. Alright, so on your white paper, you write the title, you gave us the setting, le ingxoxo phakathi kukabani nobani, bakhuluma ngokuthi nokuthi nokuthi, baseklasini. If they are in the classroom, you skip a line, now you start to talk. Each speaker must say something. Remember, it's a conversation, it's a dialogue. Alright, now, please make sure you do go through this example that I've given you on my screen, just to have a look at how you can really structure now your writing. This is an example that is taken from other papers, whereby kuse-ofisini likathisha omkhulu uMnumzane Sokhulu uzobonisana nonkosikazi uNgema mayelana nokukhathazeka kwakhe ngokungasigcini isikhathi kukamfundo. When you look at this, what is highlighted in yellow, it's what I said to you, it's your setting. When you go back to my rough example that I was trying to give to you, you will see that at the top, you must put this. So you can see it's 1 to 3 lines. Yours can be just one line. You don't have to write a lot of things. Okay. Then now they start to have their conversation. You can see the ooh that I was talking about. Please make sure you put it. Because here it's a principal, there has to be some respect. You can't just say Linky, for an example. No, you must say Mrs. or Miss to respect them. So even here ngesiZulu sithi umnumzane, meaning it's Mr. Sokhulu speaking. NKA meaning Nkosazane, Mrs. Ngema speaking. Depending on your question, again, if it's just learners, you don't have to sort of add anything, just write the names as they are. Now, I am not going to go through this. You can go through this on your own. Just have a look at how perfect this dialogue is structured. It has an introduction where they greet one another. The principal acknowledges and thanks the parent for making it to the meeting. That's a good introduction. In the body, they now start to talk about the learner. The learner is always late, so the principal is concerned. That's why he called the parent. So in the body, they are now talking. Towards the end, your conclusion, the parent is thanking the principal for making them feel involved in the child's future, and the parent is thanking the principal for letting them know they promise that they are going to have a conversation with the child. That's how it ends. It's a good ending again. So when you get time, just try and go through this example of a dialogue. It would really help you in planning your own. All right. When it comes to your task, now I'm going to further talk about what is expected, explain the question so that when you get the paper, it's easy for you guys to start writing. Okay. Nangu-ke umbuzo uthi uthisha ukhuluma nabafundi. The teacher is having conversation with the students. This is just the topic already. It gives you an idea ukuthi what you must do. Bhala-ke ingxoxo, dialogue, ezoba ngamagama angu-30 kuya kungu-40 phakathi kukathisha nabafundi. Uthisha is having a conversation with student. Now write a dialogue. The words must be between 30 to 40. I've spoken about the number of words. We give you the numbers so that you plan, you don't exceed also that amount of words. And the reason why we give you this, we already know grade 4 words. You can't give us 2 pages. 30 to 40 words, it's like half a page in isiZulu. So I'm expecting that when I get your work, I want to see that you really did pay attention to the mark allocation, and don't forget, count the words that you've used and write the number at the end of your writing, please. Bala inani lamagama osebenzisile ubese uyalibhala ekugcineni kombhalo wakho ukuthi okay, I've used 31 words. You write that down. I will still count them as a marker, but also just by looking at your piece of writing, I can already see if you've exceeded or you just wrote below the number of words that you were given. Now remember, isakhiwo sengxoxo, khumbula ukuthi ingxoxo sithe ibhalwa kanjani. I told you the names has to be on the left. You use the U, the small u, you write the name of the person, the colony, what you can speak about in the introduction, and so forth. So this is all that you will be given. I've just explained it, what it means. The names, amagama abakhulumi, imbono, whatever conversation that is happening, there has to link with the theme. In your case, you have to be in the classroom, so you can talk about anything that the teacher can talk with the students in the classroom. Ulimi oluhle, ulimi lesiZulu. Please make sure that your dialogue is in isiZulu, ibhaleke kahle ngolimi olufanele. Hlukanisa amagama neempawu zokukhanyisa. Punctuation is also important. If the teacher is asking a question on your dialogue, put a question mark at the end. Umbuzi ukukhombisa ukuthi kuyabuza. Uma ungekho umbuzo sifake ungqi, which is your full stop to show ukuthi the conversation is ending. Remember, the number of words needs to be between 30 and 40. I'm putting emphasis on this because we really don't want you guys to spend time writing into that is long, that it's not worth it. Stick to the number of words that you are given. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to the rubric, which is the part that you guys are always looking forward to. How are you going to get the marks? So remember, rubric sisebenzisela ukuthi ukwazi ukwenza njani to plan your writing properly, and to also, when you sit down and honest to yourself, uyabheka phela ukuthi with my writing, am I really going to get this point? So a rubric is given to you to check so that you can see ukuthi how many points you may get. Alright, for ingxoxo sizobheka isihloko. Njengoba ngishilo, did you give me a title? Isakhiwo sengxoxo, did you tell me where it's happening? The conversation is between who and where it's happening. What are they talking about? 1 mark for that. Free 2 marks, guys. You are left with 8. Now, when I look at the searching, I haven't read it, but I can see amagama abakhulumi. I can see you mention the names of the speakers. I just give you a mark. You already have 3 marks. Ingqikithi ehambiselana nendikimba, meaning now you start to write. Is there a link between the theme and the content? Then the context, did you give us something good? Did you give us something relatable? Kuyafundeka, kuyahambiselana yini nombuzo owunikiwe. This you can get 3, you can get 2. It depends on what you gave us. Ukusetshenziswa kolimi oluhle, bhalile yini ngesiZulu. Remember the subject is Zulu. Ukwazile yini ukubhala indaba yakho ngesiZulu. Umsebenzi wokuzilungiselela, did you submit your first draft? I always say that's great it's easy for you to pass the subject isiZulu. If you look at this, if you submit your first draft and it's the one for the dialogue, you get a mark. You use the right language, which is Zulu, you get a mark. You gave me the names of the speakers, which is the structure of a dialogue, you get a mark. You gave us the titles and everything, you get a mark. So it's always easy to get it from 8 to 10. And that is what I'm expecting you guys to get when it comes to this. All right. Okay. So where are you going to be getting the work? You will be getting the work on the OLP. It will be available for download on the OLP. You'll add your username as well as your password, which is normally your ID number, and then you are going to log on to your OLP. When you get to your OLP, you're going to go to the subject. You'll search for the subject isiZulu. Go to assignments, downloads, then you'll download the task. In this case, it should be task number 8. If it's not, task number 6. You will be getting more instructions from the teacher. Okay. Remember, this work is already available from the OLP, but the teacher would instruct you as to when you can start writing and when you can start submitting. All right. Please, if you do have any questions, feel free to send all of your questions at info@impact.co.za, and I'm really looking forward to engaging with you in any form this year. Please, if you have any queries or questions, don't forget to direct them to info@impact.co.za, and do not forget to also download this presentation, save it to your computer, look at it to prepare for your task. From my side, I really do hope that you did enjoy this lesson. You are going to find it useful, and please make sure that you do go through it over and over again to prepare very well. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.